Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new video for StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. In this video, I'm going to be covering a very basic build order for the race Zerg. Now before we actually jump into the build order, I'm going to make a few assumptions. First and foremost, I'm going to assume that you at the very least know a little bit about the game. Such as, the Zerg race, how it works, that queen injects are very important and that kind of stuff. And other than that, I expect you to also realize how the other races work. So if you have absolutely no idea how the Protoss race works, well, go jump in a game and just try it a few times before actually watching this video, because it's just gonna help you out so much more than doing a build order. Other than that, we are pretty much good to go. This build order is specifically for players that are either new to StarCraft 2, or maybe you haven't played in a long time, or maybe you're just looking to tighten up your play because you've just been doing something. It is very good to actually just practice this build, especially if you're in the lower leagues, such as Bronze, Silver, and maybe even Gold League. Now the build order that I'm going to be teaching you in this video is going to be a 2-base timing push with Roaches. Now what does a timing push mean? It actually means that you're lining up an upgrade with the push that you're doing. Now this might not make a lot of sense to you, but when you think about it, if you actually manage to, for example in this game we're gonna line up the Roach speed and the Roach +1 attack upgrade, if you manage to line those up and you actually push at the correct timing, you will most of the time catch your opponent completely off guard. Now this build order is a build order that works versus all three races as long as you execute it properly. Obviously your opponent can always mess with you in the early part of the game that might actually slow down the push a little bit, but if you execute it properly and you're in one of the lower leagues and you actually manage to hit the benchmark that I'm going to give you in a little bit, I don't think you can really lose any games whatsoever. Now that said, obviously you will need to practice this build order. There's absolutely no way you will get it right the first time, so keep in mind you're probably going to have this maybe 10 to 100 times before you can actually do it properly, and before you should probably go on the ladder and execute it versus real opponents. Now like I mentioned, we're going to do a 2-base timing attack with Roaches in which we line up Glial Reconstitituion, which is the Roach speed upgrade, and +1 Missile Attack upgrades. Now before we make any Roaches though, we're gonna have to try and get as many drones up as we possibly can without dying. So that means we're gonna have 16 drones in each base. We're gonna go a 2-base timing push, so it's 32 drones on minerals, and then we're gonna have 3 gas geysers with 9 drones on there, so 3 in each. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to try and not die in the early part of the game. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that with 4 queens. The queens are going to be there for defense, so it's absolutely crucial that you keep them on the creep at all times, and also that you hotkey them together so you can pull them forward if it turns out to be necessary. Now the benchmark that I'm going to give you is 110 supply at the 9.5 minute mark, but I will cover that more in depth once we actually jump into the game. Other than that, if you're completely new to StarCraft 2, the way we're actually going to go over the build order is actually going to be by both supply count, which is in the top right corner of the screen, as well as the in-game clock, which you can actually enable in the gameplay settings in StarCraft 2. Now let's actually jump straight into the game so we can have a look at this build order. So here we go. The first thing you always want to do at the start of the game is make a drone and send away the Overlord, and make sure you have all the hotkeys set up. Now in my case, I actually use 4 for all my hatcheries and then 3 for my first Overlord. Now, what you want to do at the very start of the game is make sure the rally point is set to the minerals and then just hold down the drone button. I know there's a lot of pro gamers, and I'm actually one of them as well, that basically just holds down the button and, basically tries to spam as many buttons at the start of the game as you possibly can, but really what you want to do is just select the hatchery and hold down the Q button. Now once you're at 9 supply, you want to do the same but do it for the Overlord. So the first thing we do is actually make an Overlord at 9 supply after making a couple of drones. So here we go. Once the Overlord spawn, you should have 2 larvae available that you will instantly be able to make into drones as well. And basically we're just gonna try and create as many drones as we possibly can for, pretty much the entirety of the game until we start producing units. Now the 14 supply mark is when we want to put down the spawning pool. So I'm gonna grab a drone a little bit early, around 150 minerals, and I'm gonna put down the spawning pool behind my mineral line. Now the reason why I grabbed it early is just because I don't want to make it late. Making it late is actually terrible. You might as well just make your drone go there a little bit earlier so you can instantly create the spawning pool. So always grab units first before you actually make the building. Now the same goes for the hatchery, which we're gonna throw down at 15 supply. So I'm gonna actually send a drone to the low ground around the 150 to 175 mineral mark, and that way it will actually arrive at the natural right at 300 minerals. So here we go, gonna throw down my natural at 15 supply. Then I'm gonna make one more drone, there we go, And now I'm just gonna wait for my spawning pool to finish up so I can start my queen. Now my spawning pool is almost done, so I'm already holding down the W button and bam, there the queen is started. And now I'm gonna wait at the 70 supply mark for another Overlord. So far it's been, you know, pretty straightforward, no trickery whatsoever. So once this Overlord spawns, I actually want to make 2 sets of Zerglings. Now the reason why I'm doing this, I'm already holding down the button, but the reason why I'm making 2 sets of Zerglings is just for scouting purposes. Now I'm going straight back into droning. Now the whole point is that we try to get out about 4 queens for early game defense. So I'm just gonna start my second queen right away in my main base. Gonna inject with the first queen in the main and then walk it towards the natural. You know, maybe your opponent is getting a little bit cheeky early on. A queen and 4 Zerglings will be plenty to deal with 99% of the early game aggression. At 24 or 23 supply, you want to make another Overlord. In the natural, once it finishes, you want to start a drone as well as a queen, because, you know, we want to go up to 4 queens and I'm just making them instantly. Keep in mind, we haven't made any gas geysers or anything just yet, so far it's just been queens and mostly drones. There we go, my second queen actually just spawned, so I'm gonna start another queen as well, which will be my 4th and final queen. At this point, I will also start double gas geysers, which should be around the 5-minute mark, and I also just now started another Overlord. Keep in mind, you want to spend your money as soon as you have it, so you just want to make drones, drones, drones. Now what you really want to focus on right now is queen injects. The queen injects will eventually allow you to create more drones, which is, you know, in the long run gonna give you more and more income. So what I'm gonna do right now is put my drones into gas geysers, and I'm gonna try and make as many drones as I possibly can. Now whenever I have time, you know, available, which I have right now, I'm gonna put down creep tumors with my other 2 queens. But if you can't spend the APM in the early part of the game, it is pretty much the least important thing to do. Keep in mind, you always want to keep checking between the 2 bases to make sure that you actually have queen injecting right there. So there we go, I have perfect inject so far. Once I hit 100 gas, I'm gonna be starting my Lair. My Lair is already started in the main right now, so I'm gonna be starting an evolution chamber with it as well, because I want to start upgrades as soon as I can. I'm still just making drones, no trickery whatsoever. A little bit after starting the evolution chamber, you also want to start the Roach Warren, which will actually line up with the Lair being finished up. I'm also gonna start my 3rd gas geyser at that point, and I'm gonna start Roach Attack upgrades, +1. At this point, I'm still just making drones. Now, the goal that we're trying to reach with drones is 16 drones on minerals in the main, 16 drones on minerals in the natural, and then 3 drones per gas geyser. Now we're going to go up to 3 gas geysers in total, so that would make up to 16 plus 16 plus 9 drones. There we go. I am maxed out on drones right around now, and I'm gonna start making a few extra Overlords. The Overlords will basically serve to give me a little bit of supply advantage, so I can actually start making the drone or the Roaches right away. There we go, my Roach Warren finished up, my Lair finished up, so I'm gonna start Glial Reconstitituion in my Roach Warren, which is Roach Speed. At this point, I'm gonna start producing the Roaches. So here we go, this is my first batch of Roaches that I'm creating right now, which should be right before the 8-minute mark. At this point, the only thing you should worry about is making sure you hit all the queen injects, making sure you hit the Roaches, and waiting until your upgrades finish. We want to do a certain timing attack. Now, a timing attack means that we actually push once both upgrades finish. So as you can see, the Roach Speed and the Roach Attack upgrade are actually lining up pretty much perfectly. So as long as they aren't finished, I'm not moving out, I'm just creating more and more units. In order to do so, once more, I'm gonna have to hit every single queen inject. And this is the benchmark that you want to try and hit. You want to hit around 110 supply around the 9.5-minute mark. As you can see, that's exactly what I'm having right now. My Roach Speed is done, my Roach +1 upgrade is done, and I can start pushing out against my opponent. Now this is crucial. I want to move out right now because this is the moment that my Roaches are probably much stronger than my opponent's units can possibly be. While I'm doing this, however, I keep injecting all the time. I don't want to stop injecting, and attacking is really not that important. I make sure I attack while producing units and while hitting all the queen injects. So yeah, that is pretty much the build order. I would advise you to actually open up a custom game and add absolutely 0 opponents in there. Just you. Make sure you pick the Zerg race and click start and click return to game once the game has loaded up. You want to be practicing this build versus no one. And that might seem a little bit awkward, but it's just so you don't get frustrated and you actually get a clear mind to practice this until you can dream it, until you do not have to think about the build order anymore. Now there's also a written version of this build order, so if you're interested in that, click the link right below that like button in the description of this video. That will actually take you straight to the LowkoTV website, which will obviously show you the written version of this build, so you can either put it on your other monitor, you can just study it when you're not at home or whatever, but you can actually, see it once more in a little bit of a different way than the video. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down below. I will try my very best to answer every single one of them. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, as well as to subscribe to see more. I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Hello everyone, my name is Loko, and welcome to a new game of StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm. Yeah!